Welcome back to Blue Zone Homestead. Today we are going to make gooseberry in syrup. I have harvested these two different varieties of gooseberry. The green one is the larger one and this red one is small. But I'm gonna mix them together, put them in a jar, and we're going to make medium syrup. And we're going to can the gooseberry, put it on a pantry shelf, and we're gonna have a lovely gooseberry compote in the winter time to come. So what I have done so far, I washed the gooseberries and I'm top and tail them now. I am literally just using my fingernails and I'm just take the floury bit as a stem bit out. I've got my compost bin here and I'm nearly finished. I've only got this much to do and then I'm going to get the jars ready. We're gonna make the syrup together and we're gonna make the compote. Also, I've just taken out the raspberry, strawberry, blueberry and runner beans from the freeze dryer. So I'm gonna wait until this tray cools down completely and we're going to transfer these to jars. And my plan is with the runner beans, have it as a snack or put it in soups and stews and powder the berries, but then we can use up later on to flavor our baked goods, whatever we're gonna bake, yogurts and so on. So if you're interested, you are welcome to my kitchen today and let's do this. Today we are going to make sweet dill pickles and fermented dill pickles. Our gherkin started producing in Napolitan and I cannot be happier. So we've already eaten fresh, we had some fridge dill pickles, and this is the first time we're making the fermented pickle, what is very good for our health. And also we're going to make sweet dill pickle, what then we're going to put on our pantry shelf. So this is, if it's something what you're interested, you are welcome in my kitchen and let's get canning. Right, let's make the medium syrup. I'm using my favorite canning book, what is the Home Preserving Complete Book from Balls. So, and I found there is some fruits in syrup recipes. So there is some from ultra, extra, light, medium, heavy, corn syrup to honey. So actually it gives me a guide what I need to use for my recipe. So I am using honey today because we've just harvested our honey, so it's nice and runny honey. It's a perfect time to use it. So it says use 1 cup of honey to 4 cups of water, and that would give us 5 cups of yields 5 cups of syrup. But I think to this small jar, I've got 5 jars today, I think that's gonna be just right. So let's measure the ingredients out. So it says we need 4 cups of water. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and to our 4 cups of water we need 1 cup of runny honey. Perfect. Cup, and I'm going to put that on medium heat until the honey dissolves in the water. Ready to do the next step. I've got warm jars, I've got my honey water, I tasted it and it tastes delicious, and I've got the water behind me because we are going to water bath can this. You will see how easy it is to make your homemade compote. So what I do first, I'm just going to add a little bit of the liquid on the bottom of these jars, which is not much, maybe a half a cup, and then we are going to add the gooseberries. So we fill the jars, we're aiming to the and about 1 inch to 1.5 inches head space, and then we fill this up. We also gonna adjust so take the air bubbles out of the jar. And we're aiming to that inch headspace. That is perfect. And the next one. A bit of this water to the bottom. Fill up the jar with the gooseberry and then fill it back up. Remove the air bubbles and that's it. Before I'm going to put the lids on, I'm using the 2-part lids. I've got a little bit of vinegar in front of me and a kitchen towel, and I'm going to wipe that rim. Make sure there's no bits and pieces there that would fail our seal. Usually run my finger through, so make sure it's no crack. In a jar, and I can hear that water is now very close to boiling. And using the jar lifter, we're going to water bath can for 15 minutes. Make sure the water covers the jars a good few inches. So these jars need to be submerged underwater. Put the lid on. Finger tight. We are ready to make the fermented dill pickle. So we need some pickling cucumber. We've got these gherkins. Now some of them are really ready. That's the other variety, the French variety, the Cornichon. We're aiming to pick 1 kilogram, but I think we have got. Let's harvest some dill next. Oh, it smells good. Harvest some bay leaf. Going to soak the gherkins in ice cold water for half an hour. It'll be nice and crisp. We are ready to make the fermented dill pickle. So my gherkins now is soaking in this ice cold water for close to 30 minutes. I'm gonna give them a good wash around. We're going to cut off that blossom bit, you know, where it was the female flower first before the gherkin grew, because that got some enzyme in there what can make our ferment mushy. We can also prevent that by adding bay leaves or grape leaves, but today we are going to add bay leaves. So I'm going to leave them in whole. I've got this cute fermented vessel. This is my smallest one, I've got quite a few. This is 2 quarts. So we are going to deal with 1 kilogram of dill gherkins and 2 quarts of water. Let's talk about the rest of the ingredients. So we are going to need close to 2 quarts of water, so 8 cups. And I'm using 8 heaped teaspoons of pink Himalayan salt. The first thing is I'm going to give this a good mix until the salt dissolves in that water, so make the brine first. Also we're going to add, I'm gonna add a little bit of a spice to our fermented pickle. We're gonna add some cayenne pepper. We're gonna add about 10 cloves of garlic. I've cut them lengthwise. We've got some mustard seed in there, mixed peppercorn. We've got pickling spice. And what else we've got in there? Just try to look what else. I think that's it. And we're going to add that dill with that head as well. So I think we've got it all. So first of all, I'm going to mix this salt water to make the brine. It needs to dissolve really well. And after that's done, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So I'm starting now with, we can add maybe half of that dill to the jar. I wash the jar, is nice and clean. Let me add 2 bay leaf. We add half of the spices. Just put it right in there. And then we're going to add the gherkins. So first of all, I'm just going to cut that bit off where the blossom was. And give them a very good wash. And I'm just going to put that in my little vessel. So go all the way. Put half of it in. And then we're going to put the other half of our ingredients, and in the end we're just going to pour the brine over, and I'm going to weigh that down. I've got the little weighs what came with my fermented vessel, and we're gonna leave this up to 5 days, and we're going to check on it. You know, you can use a different ratio of salt and water that just give you a different result a little bit. But today we are using the 1 cup of water to the 1 heaped teaspoons of salt. So I can go in there, all in there with a very, very lovely taste. I cannot wait. I was craving for this now for a while. I couldn't wait for the pickles and the gherkins to ready. All the rest of the ingredients now. And that's it. And the rest of the gherkins. Making ferments was so easy. And it's got so much benefit. All the good bacteria, you know, and all the gut health what we need. It's in our ferments. I absolutely love making sauerkraut as well. Well, actually it's not long now we're gonna make the sauerkraut as well. I think that's it. Our jar is full. So I'll leave that there. Okay, I think all our salt nicely dissolved. So we're just going to pour this over. Okay. Make sure everything is nicely underwater. Put the top on. Like that. And I'm going to leave this on a tray, on a baking tray. Put some water on the top of that rim. Perfect. And this is done. We're gonna come back to it within a few days, 3 to 5 days, and we're going to check on it and we're going to have a taste test. I cannot wait. I'm just going to leave this in my conservatory just on the floor. Change of plan. I've took this weight out because it is so full. I couldn't fully put it in and I couldn't put the top properly on it. So I'm going to weigh this down with some bread. Sourdough bread, friends. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, look. Perfect. It is the next day and I'm just checking the seal. It's all good. So now I'm going to take the lids off. We're going to wipe the jar, and this can now go to the pantry shelf as a gooseberry compote. You know what I mean? When it stains the water. But it's gorgeous, and how easy that was to make this compote. We've got five lovely jars to go to the pantry shelf. Our next project is making pickled gherkins. So the pickled gherkins I am making today, the ingredients are, I am going to use just shy of 2 kilograms of pickled gherkins, but we grew organically in my polytunnel. I'm going to use 2 quarts of water. So let's just put this in here so that can go on a stove. I'm using well water, 2 quarts of well water, 1 cup of white vinegar, 150 grams of granulated sugar, and 40 grams of pink Himalayan sea salt. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to put this up on heat and bring it up to a simmer. While we're over here, I'm going to water bath can this, so we can put this water bath can is full of water that can go on a boiling side. The next ingredients are, I'm going to use garlic. We're going to put 2 cloves of garlic to each jar. So my today's project is gonna involve 4 jars. And well, I would have preferred to have wide mouth jar on all 4, but I haven't got any empty available, so we're gonna use 2 wide mouth jars and 2 regular mouth jars, quart jars. And I'm going to use, I've got like this mix from the Polish shop, I absolutely love it. So it's got all sorts in there, you know. So I've got the garlic, dill, horseradish and some spices. We're also going to use a teaspoon of mixed peppercorn to each jar, 2 garlic cloves. We're gonna use a teaspoon of mustard seeds in each jar. I'm going to use bay leaf, 2 bay leaf in each jar, dill head. We're gonna use grape leaves, and onion. I'm probably going to use yellow onion and some fresh dill. I'm using hot pack method, so we're going to put the hot water in a warm jar and we're going to water bath this for about half an hour in simmering water. So our first job is, I've got nice and clean jars, and on the bottom of these jars we're going to add most of the ingredients, and then we're gonna add the brine mixture on the top afterwards. I've picked the gherkins an hour ago and I left it soaking in ice cold water. Actually what I've used cold tap water, and I put some ice cubes in this bowl and put the gherkins in there. Beforehand I washed it thoroughly, and there is one more thing I need to do. I'm just going to remove just a little bit of that blossom and side of all of it, because that's when bacteria can grow. I leave the other side, only the blossom and side I'm going to remove. And then we can fill the jars. I have removed the blossom end from the gherkins, and now we're ready to fill the jars. So I'm going to add on the bottom fresh dill to each jar. I absolutely love working with fresh dill. I love the smell of fresh dill. It's fantastic. Okay, right, next I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic to each jar. Next I'm going to add a tablespoon of this herb mixture to each jar. This is going to be very flavorful. Right, I can see there is lots of things in there actually. Next we're going to add a teaspoon of mustard seed, extra mustard seed, because I can see there is some already. Mustard seed, and we're going to add a teaspoon of mixed peppercorn, teaspoons each. I'm going to add the gherkins. I've got some fat ones, so I'm going to start with those, and I'm going to add them to each jar first, like that, and then put the rest around it. So like half full, we can add half full, and then we add the rest of the ingredients. So we're gonna add some onion, bit more dill. We're gonna add 2 bay leaf to each jar and 1 grape leaf to each jar. So I'm a dill head. This is gonna be so beautiful and flavorful, friends. And we add the rest of the cucumbers. Try to push everything down. Perfect. I think we might need more jars. Yeah. I think I'm gonna need 1 more jar. Yes, we managed to fill 5 quart jars. So next I'm just going to slice the onions. I'm going to add some to each jar. That will give a great flavor too. Well, perfect. Right. And fill it back up with the rest of the cucumber. I remember my grandma was so good stucking these cucumbers in here beautifully, you know. Probably she could have put like a lot more in there of what I do. But I'm sure this is gonna be fine. I think we're good, friends. Got these 5 jars ready to fill it with the brine. I am just putting a little bit in the bottom of each jar. Let's give a chance to the jar to come up to that heat so it won't crack our jars. So now all of the jars got this hot brine, and now we can fill it up more. So now I'm going more halfway. And then we're going to fill it, and we're going to leave an inch of a headspace. And I'm just hoping that my brine is gonna be enough, because we added an extra jar. I think just slightly short. So what I'm gonna do now, this kettle has just been boiling not long ago. So I'm just going to use a bit of hot water from the kettle. Perfect. Be good. And remove the air bubbles. So just run it through the jar a few times. Push those cucumbers down. Perfect. Next we're just going to wipe that rim, and we're going to put, I'm using a 2-part lid today again. They look so beautiful. I'll put some vinegar on the end of this kitchen towel and just going to wipe that rim nicely all around, make sure there's nothing on it. And run my finger through. I can hear the water bath kind of now, it's nearly boiling. And I think we're ready to put the lids on, friends. So we've got 2 wide mouth jars and 3 regular. Finger tight. The gherkins are now simmering for about 20 to 25 minutes, and I've just took it off the heat, left it for 5 minutes, and we are ready to take the jars out. now 3 days since we fermented these gherkins. I cannot wait to try. I've just removed the sourdough bread from the top so we can get to it and try one. Smells good, right? Let's try this. This is delicious. This is ready. This is ready, friends. Wow. Let's have another slice. Sour, crunchy, delicious. I absolutely love fermented foods. I've just harvested a couple of cabbages not that long ago from the garden, so I think I'm gonna make sauerkraut very soon. Oh, this is so good. Let's have one more. All the jars are now ready to come to the pantry. So look at this beautiful gooseberry compote and our lovely homegrown, homemade dill pickle, sweet dill pickle. The fermented, it's still in the house, and soon, next couple of days, I'm gonna transfer them to the fridge and we're just gonna enjoy it from the fridge. But these ones can go on a shelf now. I still haven't done a pantry tour, and as you can see, it's so much going on. We really need to do the pantry tour, and we need to have a plan to use up some of these goods from previous years. But thank you so much for spending time with me today to making all these lovely preservation projects, and see you very soon. Bye friends!